Welcome back to Nourish with Regina podcast, where we talk about transforming your plate and transforming your life. If you are new here, welcome. I'm Regina, a certified nutrition coach, wife, mom of 4 adult children, and someone who has learned that health is often built in the small daily rhythms that we repeat over and over again. Today's episode is one I think a lot of people desperately need. We are talking about sleep today. Many people are spending all their energy focused on morning routines, workouts, step counts, supplements, while completely overlooking something that may be quietly affecting all of it: their evenings. What happens at night impacts sleep quality, your blood sugar, your stress hormones, cravings, recovery, your hunger the next day even, energy, mood, decision-making, and even your body composition. Meaning, your morning often starts the night before. And honestly, many people are trying to function in a body that is chronically under-recovered. So today we're talking about late night snacking, stress eating, sleep science, cortisol, screens, evening overstimulation, how to create evenings that actually support your body instead of draining it further. Because health is not just about what you do during the day. It's also about whether your body ever actually fully recovers. And we have to give it that chance to do so. So I want to start personally, because honestly, as I've gotten older, sleep and nighttime routine has become something I have to be much more intentional about. I cannot stay up randomly anymore. I can't ignore my body's signals. I can't doom scroll until midnight and expect to feel amazing the next day. I feel it now in my energy, in my mood, my cravings, my patience, my whole body. And one thing that has helped me tremendously has been creating more structure around my evenings. I actually have alarms in my phone, not alarms to wake up. I mean, I do have those, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I have alarms that go off that remind me to start winding down, begin my nighttime routine, move towards sleep. Because if I don't intentionally create a rhythm, it is incredibly easy to just keep going. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. Especially women, especially parents, caregivers, high capacity people that spend their entire day pouring into others. Nighttime suddenly becomes my only me time. And so even when we're exhausted, we stay awake, scrolling, watching television, snacking, decompressing, trying to reclaim a little bit of the day just for ourselves. So apparently there's actually a term for this now. They call it revenge bedtime procrastination. And honestly, it makes emotional sense. But physiologically, it can quietly create a cycle that leaves more people exhausted, dysregulated, and actually more overwhelmed over time. So next we're going to talk about the rhythms that your body runs on and how sleep is needed for repair. So we're going to get a little sciencey for a minute, because I think we need to understand why evenings matter so much. And sleep is not just rest. Sleep is not just the thing you do when you run out of energy. Sleep is an active biological process. So while you're sleeping, your body is doing incredibly important work. Your brain is processing memory and clearing waste products. Your immune system is regulating. Your muscles are repairing. Your nervous system is recalibrating. Your blood sugar regulation is being influenced. Your appetite signals are being reset from the day. Your body is not doing nothing while you sleep. Your body is doing some of its most important maintenance work at night. And this matters so much because a lot of people treat sleep like it's an optional thing. like it's the first thing we cut out when life gets busy. We can't borrow sleep and pay it back later. That's not how it works. Well, when sleep gets shortened time over time, again and again, your body actually begins to operate from a place of stress and compensation. And that can show up in a multitude of ways, like cravings, low energy, irritability, poor recovery, trouble losing fat, hormone changes, and a feeling of constantly running on fumes. So when we talk about evening routines, we are not just talking about having a cute little candle and a cup of tea, although I do love that. We are talking about creating conditions for your body to repair, regulate, and recover. And that is a much bigger conversation. So one of the ways your body organizes all of this is through something called your circadian rhythm. Your circadian rhythm is basically an internal 24-hour clock. It helps regulates when you feel awake, when you feel sleepy, when your body temperatures rises and falls, when certain hormones are released, how alert you feel, how your digestion functions, and even how your metabolism functions. And the really important thing to understand is this. Your body is designed perfectly to respond to cues. So what are some of those cues? Light is a cue, darkness, food timing, stress. Screens are a cue, like, the blue light kind of screens. A consistent bedtime routine is a cue. What time is it? Is it time to be alert? Is it time to digest? Is it time to repair? Is it time to rest? So when your evenings are full of bright lights, work emails, scrolling, heavy stimulation, late meals, stress, and no real wind down rhythm, your body may be getting mixed messages. So your brain might know it's 10:30 at night, but your nervous system may still feel like it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's where people start saying things like, I'm exhausted, but I can't fall asleep. My body is tired, but my mind won't shut off. I'm wired, but tired. And I know I've said probably all of those things at one point in time or another. And that phrase, wired but tired, is such a good description of a nervous system that has not received enough signals of safety and rest. And this is where melatonin comes into the conversation. Not randomly, not as a supplement conversation first, but as part of this whole rhythm system. Melatonin is actually a hormone your body naturally produces as darkness increases. So it's not something that just comes as a pill that we've, been taught that that's what's going to help us get to sleep. But our body should make its own melatonin. It helps signal to your body that it's getting dark outside, it's time to wind down, it's time to prepare for sleep. But melatonin doesn't operate in isolation either. It's part of a larger circadian rhythm. So when we expose ourselves to bright light late at night, especially blue light from phones, tablets, and TVs, that light actually can suppress or delay melatonin release and shift your body's timing to later. Reviews on light and circadian rhythm show that light exposure strongly affects melatonin, sleeping times, alertness, and mood. So your late night scrolling is not just a bad habit, but it's actually a biological sign that tells your brain it's not bedtime yet. It says stay awake, stay alert, keep processing, keep reacting, and that can make it much, much harder for the body to shift into true recovery. And that's why an evening routine matters. It's not about being rigid. It's about creating repeated cues that tell your body the day is ending, you are safe to slow down, recovery can begin. So this is where sleep becomes much bigger than just feeling tired. A bad night of sleep doesn't just make you yawn the next day. It changes the internal environment in your body and the way your body operates. So when it happens repeatedly, it can affect almost every single part of your health. So let's break that down. First, poor sleep affects insulin sensitivity. So as you know, if you've been here listening to my podcast for a while, we've talked about blood sugar balance and insulin sensitivity. So insulin is the hormone that helps move glucose or your blood sugar out of your bloodstream and into your cells to be used for energy. When insulin sensitivity is good, your body responds well to insulin. When insulin sensitivity is lower, your body has to work harder to manage your blood sugar. Sleep loss has been linked with impaired glucose metabolism and increased insulin resistance, meaning the same meal may affect your body differently after poor sleep than it would after a great night rest. If you notice that after a bad night's sleep, you feel more snacky, more tired, more drawn to quick energy foods like those simple carbohydrates and things, that's not random. That's your body responding to the poor sleep. It's trying to manage energy with a less efficient system. Second, poor sleep affects appetite regulation. So two hormones we often talk about here are ghrelin and leptin. So ghrelin is one of the hormones that increase hunger. So when you start, getting that feeling in your stomach and it's telling you you're hungry, that's ghrelin. Leptin helps signal fullness and energy sufficiently. So when sleep is restricted, research shows changes in appetite-related hormones, including ghrelin and leptin, which can increase hunger and make fullness signals feel less reliable. The day after poor sleep, you may genuinely feel hungrier. Not because you are weak, not because you lost discipline overnight, but because your biology has shifted. Third, poor sleep affects cravings and reward pathways. So when you are sleep deprived, the brain tends to look for fast energy and high reward food. That means sugar, refined carbs, salty snacks, highly palatable foods. Those all become much more appealing. It's not emotional, it's neurological. Your brain is tired, and tired brains like quick rewards. That is why a protein breakfast and balanced meals matter even more after a rough night. You're not just feeding your stomach, you're supporting your brain. You're giving it the energy it needs to function at its optimal level. So another thing poor sleep affects is our hormones. Your body uses cortisol as part of its natural daily rhythm, and we talk about cortisol as being that stress hormone. Ideally, your cortisol will rise in the morning to help you wake up, and then will gradually lower later on in the day so your body can move towards rest. But short or poor quality sleep can keep your body in a more stressed state and keep those cortisol levels elevated. This can cause you to feel more reactive, more anxious, more impatient, more easily overwhelmed. And if your stress is already high and you have poor sleep, this can just make everything feel magnified and heavier. Small things feel bigger, the cravings feel louder, your motivation feels lower. Fifth, poor sleep will affect your inflammation and recovery. So sleep is one of the body's major recovery tools. When sleep is short or poor quality, the body has less time to repair tissue, regulate immune activity, and calm inflammatory pathways. If someone is working out and trying to lose fat, dealing with chronic inflammation, or trying to improve their energy, sleep has to be part of the conversation. It's that important. You cannot out-supplement poor recovery. You cannot out-diet a chronically under-rested body. Poor sleep can also affect your decision making. This is the one people really don't talk about enough, I think. When you're tired, your brain doesn't make decisions in the same way. Planning feels harder, patience is lower, concentration is harder to achieve, impulse control is weaker. you're more likely to say, I don't care, I'll just start tomorrow, I need something easy. So even if your evenings are chaotic, sleep is poor, you're going to start your morning already exhausted. And it's going to become much harder to follow through on the habits that you actually care about. So that's why I keep saying your morning starts the night before. Because tomorrow's craving, tomorrow's mood, your energy, and choices are often being shaped while you sleep. Or while you're not sleeping is the other flip side of that. So let's talk about nighttime eating, because I know when I was a kid, we always grew up with a bedtime snack, and that was one habit I tried really hard to break. And most nights I do pretty good. I want to be very clear here. This is not going to be one of those rigid conversations where I say never eat after 7 p.m. If that's your goal and you want to do that, and that's great for you. If that's not your goal, that's okay too. That kind of advice might sound simple, but real life is not simple. Some people work late. Some people have evening practices or events, and their dinner time can't be regular. Some people truly need a balanced snack before they go to bed. Some people ate too little during the day, and their body is genuinely hungry. So this is not about hard rules or sticking to a timeline schedule no matter what. It's about understanding what is happening in your body and learning how to support it better. Because what you eat at night, how much you eat, and why you're eating all matter. From a circadian perspective, your body does not handle food the exact same way at all hours of the day. Your metabolism also follows a rhythm. Insulin sensitivity tends to be better earlier in the day and lower later in the evening time for almost everybody. That means a large, high sugar or high refined carb meal late at night may create a different blood sugar response than the same meal eaten earlier in the day. Research on meal timing and circadian alignment suggests nighttime eating can contribute to poor glucose regulation, partly because food intake may be happening when the body is biologically prepared to sleep rather than to digest. So let's make this practical. If you eat a balanced dinner with protein, fiber, healthy fats, and some nourishing carbohydrates, your body usually has something steady to work with. But if your evening looks like grazing on chips, sweet cereal, crackers, wine and snacks, while scrolling, that may create some blood sugar swings. Those swings can often affect your sleep. Some people may wake up in the middle of the night. You can wake up hot. You can wake up hungry. Sometimes you can wake up at 3 a.m. wide awake, and your body's like, no, we're not going back to sleep. We're up now. Our mind is racing. We're ready to go. So some people just wake up and feel like they never slept. I know I've had mornings like that where I get up and I'm still so tired. So late night snacking can happen for different reasons. One reason is true hunger. If you didn't eat enough during the day, or you skipped lunch, or you barely had any protein and pushed through on caffeine, your body might be trying to catch up. In that case, the answer is not shame. The answer is to eat enough earlier in the day. So we need to really look at our daily habits too, and our eating habits and schedule, and see if that's contributing to our late night snacking. Another reason is blood sugar instability. If your meals during the day were mostly quick carbs without protein or fiber, you may end the day on a roller coaster that can make sugar feel almost urgent. Another reason is habit. Maybe every night after dinner, the couch equals a snack. And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier with the midnight snack we always had as kids before bed. The TV comes on, the pantry opens, and suddenly eating is just part of the nighttime routine. Another reason is emotional release. You finally sit down, the house is quiet, the day was long. You want comfort. Again, not weakness, human. You are human. We have feelings and emotion and stresses. So instead of asking yourself, why can't I stop eating at night? Try asking, what is my nighttime eating trying to solve? Because once we can identify the reason, we can make changes to help it. So we need to ask, is it hunger? Is it stress? Is it exhaustion, boredom, blood sugar, comfort, lack of pleasure in the day? Those kind of questions are so much more helpful because different reasons need different solutions. If it's true hunger, eat a balanced snack. Something like Greek yogurt with berries, cottage cheese, turkey roll up, boiled egg, and fruit, or maybe just make yourself a small protein smoothie. Also, if you want to make these if you're an ice cream, like you love ice cream at night, you can make a yogurt parfait and freeze it and make a little frozen yogurt kind of treat for yourself too. If it's habit, then you might actually need a different kind of care. If it's habit, you might need a closing ritual. Tea, brushing your teeth, turning off the kitchen lights, taking a short walk, reading, prayer, something that tells your body and your brain, we're done for the day. This is how we move from restriction into wisdom. Not, you can't eat that, you're not allowed to eat that, but asking, what does my body really need right now? So I think a lot of the bedtime eating and stuff really can make us feel guilt and make us feel shame. And really, it's our body trying to tell us something. And we need to learn to listen. I want to go deeper now into the emotional side of this because I think this is where a lot of people will feel seen. Nighttime can be hard. Not because you're undisciplined, remember, but nighttime is often when everything finally gets quiet enough for you to feel what you've been carrying throughout the day. During the day, you're busy, you're working, you're taking care of people, you're answering emails and telephone messages, you're solving problems, you're driving places, you're making decision after decision, you're keeping things moving. Then evening comes and your body is tired. Your brain is still processing. And this is often when people fall into patterns like scrolling, snacking, binge watching, or staying up way too late. Not because they don't care about their health, because they're trying to create a little space for themselves. We talked about this being the revenge bedtime procrastination. What that means is it's describing delaying sleep to reclaim personal time. We feel like everything and everyone else has taken all of our time away from us. Especially, when you feel like you're not in control of things, or life is super hectic or stressful or busy. Sleep Foundation describes it as intentionally staying up late for personal time, even when you know it may negatively affect your sleep. And honestly, it makes so much sense. And I'm guilty of this probably more times than I'd like to admit. But parents, caregivers, busy professionals, people who are constantly needed, nurses, teachers, again, parents, women who spend their entire day pouring out. By the time nighttime comes, you may think, finally, this is my time, or I just want to watch one more episode. I haven't got to sit down and catch up on my show all week long. I just want to snack. I just want to scroll. I need to decompress. I deserve fill in the blank there, You do deserve rest. You do deserve pleasure. You do deserve time that feels like your own. But the hard truth is, if the only way we reclaim ourselves is by stealing from sleep, eventually your body is going to pay for it. And I'm not saying this with judgment. I'm really coming from a place of compassion because I've been there. Sometimes staying up late feels like freedom in the moment, but the next day it feels like depletion. So part of healing your evening routine is asking, where am I not getting my needs met during the day? So do you need more quiet time? Do you need more boundaries, more help, more joy, more nourishment, more realistic expectations? Do you need more time with God or in prayer or meditation? Do you need more transition between work mode and home mode? Because if your days are completely depleted, your nights will often become attempts to soothe. And a lot of people use food as one of those tools. Your phone might become another one of those tools. Alcohol or other habits. Shopping, online shopping. I mean, I like a good Amazon shopping trip, scrolling, shows, snacks, all of these can become ways that we try and regulate. But true regulation usually comes from something deeper. It comes from teaching the body you are safe. You can slow down. You're allowed to rest. We have to give ourselves permission. You don't have to earn peace by finishing everything. And a lot of times I think we have these mindsets where we think that any part of joy or pleasure, it has to be earned by doing something else that we don't really care to do. And I want to challenge you to kind of start upsetting that way of thinking. You know, an evening routine is not just about sleep. It's about your nervous system care. It's about creating a gentle landing place after a full day. And for some of us, it takes practice. It takes physically actually setting an alarm in our phone to tell us, hey, it's time to start winding down. It may mean creating a transitional ritual or routine. It may mean if you know you're snacking at night because you're not eating well enough during the day, you can obviously try and change some of the habits during the day, but you can have pre-planned evening snacks so you're not grazing or you're not eating something that's going to cause your blood sugar to spike and fall and make you feel bad in the morning. It might mean you charge your phone across the room or in a different room even, or carving out time in your calendar to pray, meditate, work out, whatever that decompression thing is that your body needs. It may mean saying no earlier in the day so you're not so depleted at night. It's okay to say no to people. It's okay to protect our space. Don't use it as an excuse to, not do anything or become antisocial, but to protect our boundaries for our own well-being. That's okay. So this is where practical health meets emotional health, because your body doesn't separate the two. Stress affects sleep. Sleep affects hunger. Hunger affects cravings. Cravings affect choices. And your choices affect how you feel. It's all connected. And that's not meant to overwhelm you. It's meant to give you hope. Because if it's connected, then small changes in one area can begin to support the whole system. I really want you to sit with that a minute. One small change can actually have like a ripple effect. So, you don't have to do everything all at once. You just have to start with one thing. So one of the biggest mindset shifts I want you to make is that sleep does not usually happen instantly. Sleep is something your body transitions to. Unless you're like my husband and you can fall asleep the minute your head hits the pillow. I don't have that gift. But so if you want to sleep 8 hours, you probably need to schedule 9 hours to be in bed. It takes the average person about 30 minutes to actually fall asleep. And for me, I hate waking up and feel rushed. I will set three alarms in the morning, 15 minutes apart, just so I can hit snooze and gradually wake up over time. I hate feeling like jolted awake in the morning. So we're talking about this transition time into sleep. And so many people expect themselves to go from emails, lights, TV, scrolling, stress, noise, productivity, decision making, straight into deep restorative sleep. It's like driving 90 miles an hour and expecting the car to stop immediately without touching the brakes. Your nervous system needs that transition, a slowing down process, or, we want to power ourselves down. And this is where evening routines become incredibly powerful. Not because routines are magical, not because it's going to automatically solve everything, but repetition creates signals for our body. Our body learns patterns. This is why children often sleep better with a bedtime routine. You do the bath, you read the book, you dim the lights, you quiet the voice. That teaches their body, hey, we're moving towards sleep now. As adults, we need those signals too, and we kind of forget that, I think. So your nervous system is constantly scanning for cues of safety or stress. This happens largely automatically. It's not something we consciously do. It's just something our nervous system does for us to protect us. So if your evening is full of stimulation and noise and bright lights, stressful conversations, social media arguments, work emails, multitasking, emotional overload, your nervous system may still feel alert and activated. And an activated nervous system does not easily transition into deep restorative sleep. This is why some people feel exhausted yet cannot shut off their brain. Their body is tired, but their nervous system is still on. This is also why calming rituals matter physiologically, not just emotionally. Prayer, breathing, reading, stretching, soft music, quiet, soft lights, maybe some hot tea, journaling. All these things are not silly wellness trends. They're signals. They're things that can signal slowing down. They can signal safety. And they can signal your body that recovery can begin. So let's make this practical, because people often hear, have a nighttime routine, but they don't actually know what that means. And honestly, your evening routine does not need to be elaborate. It needs to be repeatable. So I'm just going to kind of go through pretty basic nighttime routine. And obviously we all know life happens, and this is something you don't necessarily can stick with 100% of the time. And so if those times shift a little bit, that's fine too, but you set your own timeline. So for me, 6:30 to 7 is dinner time. We have a good healthy meal, protein, fiber, healthy fats, nourishing carbohydrates. This is going to help stabilize your blood sugar and create better satiation feelings in the evening. Not perfection, just support. We're going to support our bodies as we move into nighttime. So about 7:30, we're going to call this our gentle transition period. So this is where people either keep working, start stress scrolling, emotionally crash, or start the unintentional grazing or snacking. Instead, we want to create like a small transition moment. So maybe it's a walk outside. Maybe it's putting on your pajamas and washing your face, or lighting a candle and having a cup of tea in a quiet place. Cleaning the kitchen. That doesn't sound super relaxing to me, but for some people, maybe it is. Packing tomorrow's lunch. Just something that's going to tell your brain the productive part of the day is ending and we are preparing for sleep. 8 o'clock kitchen closing ritual. And I really love this one. Not from restriction, but from rhythm. Turn off the kitchen lights, wipe down the counters, have a tea, brush your teeth. We all know not every food tastes great after you brush your teeth. This just kind of kitchen closing is going to signal completion. The meal is over, everything's done, put away, the lights are off, we're done. Our body's done eating for the day. Many people's nighttime eating is less about physical hunger and more about emotional continuation. The day never ended, so the eating keeps going too. And then we're gonna, about 8:30, this is when my first alarm goes off to, one, take my nighttime medicine as part of my ritual, but two, to start reducing stimulation. And this is huge. Don't have every light in the house on. Kind of bring things to a darker, dim lit, space if possible. You could even lower the brightness on your TV. You could decide that's a time you're getting off social media. We want to avoid emotionally activating content or things that are going to upset us or stress us out. Your brain processes stimulation even when you think you are relaxing. And honestly, scrolling is not usually restful. It's stimulating. Your brain is processing news, opinions, comparisons, ads, arguments, noise. None of that is conducive to recovery. So maybe just set that aside. Just a little side note, why we feel our screens are so addictive at night. Because most people are exhausted and our brain often seeks out low effort dopamine. And scrolling gives you that. And honestly, it's super interesting if you want to do some research on cell phones and social media and stuff. I mean, they're designed to do this. So scrolling is going to give you novelty. It's going to give you stimulation, distraction, temporary escape, because it's giving you those low effort dopamine releases. But it rarely leaves people feeling restored, usually just overstimulated and later to bed. And this matters because sleep timing affects circadian rhythm consistency as well. So going to bed at wildly different times every night can disrupt your body's internal rhythm. Consistency helps. Doesn't have to be perfect, but try and be consistent with your bedtime at night. So maybe around 9 p.m., you're going to start thinking, what helps my body feel calm? Not numb, not distracted, but calm, like inner peace kind of calm. And this may look different for different people. Prayer, stretching, reading. Maybe you need some supplements to help you. Magnesium glycinate, herbal tea, breathing exercises. I was listening to something today. It said most people don't take very deep breaths anymore. So deep breathing can be extremely relaxing and restorative to our body, like really sucking in that oxygen and filling our lungs with air. That's what they were meant to do. Gratitude journaling, soft music. I know noise machines, a lot of people like that. We listen to thunderstorm noises when we go to bed. It just brings that calmness and relaxing, repetitive kind of white noise feeling. So let's go back to supplements, because sometimes supplements can help support our sleep. Magnesium glycinate is commonly used because magnesium plays a role in muscle relaxation and nervous system function and sleep regulation. So if you like tea, herbal teas like chamomile or lemon balm feel really calming for some people. Melatonin may occasionally help short-term circadian adjustments. But supplements are not a substitute for rhythm. If someone is overstimulated, scrolling until midnight, stressing constantly, eating chaotically, sleeping for 5 hours or less, supplements and tea is not going to fix that problem. So one of the most underrated forms of self-care is preparing your future self. Because mornings feel dramatically different when evenings are intentional. Think about the difference between waking up to clutter, chaos, no plan, rushing, forgotten lunches, random breakfast, throwing something together, you don't have clean clothes. It's exhausting. Now imagine waking up and your breakfast has already been prepared. Your water bottle's ready, your work clothes or your workout clothes are already laid out. It's just a whole calmer environment, and it's less decision fatigue, and it just starts your day on a more even keel. Like, your evening routine can reduce tomorrow's stress before tomorrow even begins. And I would always welcome less stress in my life. And this matters because exhausted brains make harder choices. It's harder for them to work. Research on decision fatigue suggests that mental overload can impair self-control, thoughtful decision-making over time. So the more decisions you remove in advance, the easier consistency becomes. That's why healthy habits are often less about motivation and more about reducing friction. So I want to circle back to evening snacks because I want to be realistic here, because none of this matters if it's not doable, right? And none of us are the same, and we need to have realistic conversations and realistic expectations of things that will work or will not work. So there is a difference between emotional grazing and supportive nourishment. Some people truly do better with a balanced evening snack, especially if you have to eat an early dinner. Your blood sugar tends to drop low overnight. You work out later in the day. If you have medications or you take medications that will affect your appetite, or if you are genuinely hungry. And this is why it's so important to learn to listen to our bodies so that we know what our body is trying to tell us it needs. So a supportive snack usually includes a protein, sometimes a healthy fat, and sometimes fiber. So we talked about the Greek yogurt and the berries, cottage cheese and cinnamon with some blueberries, a protein smoothie, an apple and peanut butter, a turkey roll-up, boiled eggs and fruit. These are some things that are going to be protein forward. That's going to help stabilize your blood sugar. So let's think about that and have some of these prepared, especially if you know you get hungry at night. What usually creates a problem is mindless eating, highly processed snack, eating while distracted, trying to emotionally regulate with food alone. Again, it's not shame, it's awareness, because we can't fix things we don't acknowledge, right? We want foods that support rest, recovery, and sleep. And I want you to understand, sleep is not just about what you do at bedtime. Your body's ability to rest and recover is also influenced by how you nourish yourself throughout the entire day, because sleep and nutrition are deeply connected. Your body needs certain nutrients to support neurotransmitter production, nervous system regulation, muscle recovery, blood sugar stability, melatonin production, and relaxation. So while there's no magical sleep food, I know some people, joke that turkey does it, but there are absolutely foods and nutrients that can help support better rest and recovery. So one of the biggest things that affect nighttime recovery is blood sugar stability. If blood sugar is wildly fluctuating all day long, lots of spikes and crashes, you are replacing meals with caffeine, under eating, then overeating, your body usually has a harder time fully settling into restorative sleep. This is one of the reasons that balanced meals throughout your day are so important. Protein, fiber, healthy fats, regular nourishment. Stable blood sugar throughout the day often supports more stable energy and better recovery at night. And we talked about magnesium as a supplement, but magnesium is also involved in hundreds of processes in the body, including muscle relaxation, nervous system regulation, sleep support, and blood sugar regulation. And many people are not getting enough magnesium. So some foods that are wonderful sources of magnesium are pumpkin seeds, almonds, spinach, black beans, dark chocolate, avocado. Again, not magic, just support. So add a few of those foods to your meal throughout the day. Protein matters for sleep too. last week's episode was all about the protein problem, and most people aren't getting enough protein. So we need to think about protein throughout the day because that's going to help with sleep too. Your body uses amino acids from protein for repair and recovery processes overnight. And interestingly, certain amino acids are also involved in neurotransmitter pathways connected to relaxation and sleep regulation. So it really is all interwoven. There's another reason why eating enough protein throughout the day matters, not just for muscle, not just for metabolism, but for recovery as well. Complex carbohydrates and calming your nervous system. So this surprises some people, but balanced carbohydrates can actually support relaxation for some individuals. I am not talking about giant bowls of cereal at 10 p.m., but nourishing carbohydrates paired with protein and healthy fats can support steadier serotonin pathways and nervous system calming. So some examples of these nourishing carbohydrates are sweet potatoes, oats. If you like oatmeal, you can put some peanut butter in there and some berries, maybe even a scoop of protein powder if you're trying to, finish up your protein goal for the day. Quinoa, fruit, beans, all of this great carbohydrate options. And again, balance matters. And hydration matters too. So even mild dehydration can affect sleep quality, your heart rate, your energy, and your recovery. So we don't want to jug huge amounts of water before bed, unless you enjoy waking up at 2 a.m. to use the bathroom. But consistent hydration throughout the day will support your overall recovery system in your body. Caffeine awareness. Another important conversation. Many people are exhausted, so they use caffeine to compensate. And I'm one of them. I love my morning coffee. But if you drink it too much or too late into the day, your sleep can suffer. So then your body says you need more caffeine the next day, and then the cycle repeats. So caffeine's not evil. Like I said, I love my morning coffee too, but caffeine has a fairly long half-life, meaning it can stay in your body longer than you realize. For some people, an afternoon caffeine may absolutely impact nighttime sleep quality, even if you fall asleep fine, because sleep quality and sleep quantity are not always the same thing. So instead of thinking, what can I take at night to knock me out? A better question may be, how am I supporting my nervous system and recovery all day long? Because the body often sleeps best when it feels nourished, regulated, safe, hydrated, and supported. Not overstimulated and underfed all day. Then we suddenly expect it to recover fully overnight. And that's just not realistic. So I want to start closing this conversation with something a little deeper, because especially in today's society, rest elicits feelings of guilt. So many people feel guilty when they're resting, or if they want to take a little cat nap. They feel guilty slowing down. They feel guilty being still. They feel guilty ending the day before everything is done. But from a faith perspective, rest is not weakness. Rest is wisdom. God designed rhythms, day and night, work and rest, activity and restoration. And if you're a faithful person, God even rested. I mean, he's God. He probably didn't need to rest, but he did. He rested on the seventh day. Your body was never meant to operate in a constant output mode. And honestly, many people are trying to earn worth through exhaustion. But exhaustion is not holiness. Burnout is not proof of value. And sometimes stewardship of our bodies looks like this: going to bed, putting the phone down, saying no and protecting our personal boundaries and time. Creating those boundaries, allowing yourself to recover. listening to your body and know when it's telling you, I need more rest. You don't have to earn rest by finishing everything. Many things can wait until tomorrow. And the healthier, more restored version of you tomorrow may handle them far better. So if you feel stuck, before blaming yourself, before trying another restrictive plan, before assuming you need more discipline, I want you to ask yourself, what do my evenings actually look like? Because your body probably doesn't need more punishment, more pressure, or more restriction. I'm guessing what you really need is more rhythm, more recovery, more nervous system support, more sleep, more peace, more grace for yourself. And honestly, I hope you hear that that is a very hopeful message. Because small evening shifts can create surprisingly powerful changes over time. So let's just sit with that for a minute and think of one small thing that you can do this week to help start preparing your body for a restful night of recovery and restorative health. So if this episode encouraged you, helped something click, or gave you a fresh perspective, please share it with someone who could use it too. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. We drop new episodes every Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram at Nourish with Regina, where I share practical nutrition tips, encouragement, and realistic ways to support your health in everyday life, because that's the goal, right? If you're ready to take what you are learning here and apply it with personalized support, you can learn more about all of my coaching options on my website, www.nourishwithregina.com. Especially, I do have an upcoming June group coaching program. It's 100% virtual. It's starting June 8th. I'll be opening enrollment for my brand new 4-week group program. We're calling it Savor Summer. We're going to eat well, feel good, and enjoy life this summer. The program's designed to help you create healthy habits that actually fit into real summer life. Ball games, travel, poolside, at the beach, vacations, whatever the thing is. Barbecues, summer gathering. We're going to talk about hydration and digestion and balanced nutrition and how to enjoy all those things we talked about. Without feeling like you're constantly starting over or feeling guilty when you don't stick to your certain plan. Because healthy living should feel life-giving and not restrictive. Inside the program, you're going to get live coaching, practical tools, encouragement, and support from a community of people working towards the same goals as you, and feeling good in your body this summer. I'm not saying you're going to want to wear a bikini on the beach, but I think we can meet ourselves where we are and make some healthy, sustainable choices and move forward in that way. Next week's episode is one I think you're really going to enjoy. I know I'm really looking forward to it, but it's Eat with the Season, simple summer nutrition that feels good. So we're going to talk about how summer can be one of the easiest and most enjoyable times of the year to nourish our bodies. We're going to cover seasonal produce, hydration, supportive foods, cookouts, vacations, simple summer meals. We're going to head to my kitchen and do some cooking together. But we're going to learn how to let healthy living feel joyful. I want to thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you so much. And until next time, keep nourishing your body one simple choice at a time. Bye.